Hey guys, all right, let's talk about Nicolandria from Love Island. Yes, the Nick and Alandria, the couple that has the internet doing backflips in the comment section. It's almost funny to me. The couple said it plain as day. We're just dating. Yet somehow folks still want to twist it, still want to pretend like they didn't hear it, all because deep down a lot of people can't process it. Or maybe they don't want to process it and just call the relationship fake. Like, what's fake about dating? All right. If you don't want to listen to me, listen to the couple speak for themselves.
I love that.
You guys are dating.
Dating.
Nicolandria
Nicolandria's dating. Like I said, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
In the real
so
world,
right. Thanks for reminding me.
Like, it feels way, I get it, because Love Island is very intense.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, it's been a couple of weeks. In the real world, Love Island aside, I don't decide to be someone's girlfriend within the 2-3 weeks. Like, come on, guys, let's use this thing right here.
You're so right. And thanks for gently telling me to use my brain.
No.
Thank you. Because the time is sort of warped.
Yes.
And so, safe to say you guys are dating.
Yes.
Not boyfriend, girlfriend.
Not boyfriend, girlfriend, though.
I have time for
I
one.
like the word dating, by the way. Like, that's what it is.
Because dating, you're experiencing each other. You're figuring each other out. You know what I mean? To see if you want to.
That's something I've changed. Like, before Love Island, I thought the term dating was like, this is going to be the person I'm going to marry.
Yeah.
But I've learned that, like, dating can be getting to experience people and, like, getting to know if that could be your person to marry. So,
yeah, I think Alandria said it quite clearly. That everybody just needs to settle down and use their brains. So let's break it down a little further, because this isn't just about Nick and Alandria. It's about jealousy, bias, and the way we measure beauty, and love in a world full of double standards. Jealousy is definitely in the air. See, jealousy is the loudest emotion online. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't sit in the back quietly. Jealousy grabs a megaphone and runs straight to Twitter, straight to TikTok, straight to the group chat, or in Ace's case, a dusty-ass couch.
Who would you consider to be your friend from the villa?
Who I consider to be my friend is the people who support me out loud. And not
who are
behind
those
closed
people?
doors. Alandria, obviously me and Shelly more than friends, and Taylor.
That's it.
Brian calls to check in on me from time to time to make sure I'm straight, and that's it.
So me asking you who your friends are, and you name Alandria, Taylor, and maybe Brian. The glaring omission there is Nick.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, me and Nick are cool, but like, to say we are super, super close, like we were in the villa, it's not the case, because again, certain instances, I take a look at it for what it is. Coming out this villa, I've seen a lot of people not stand behind what they say and let narratives continue to spin. The people who stood on what exactly happened in the villa after having all the conversations said today to when this interview drops, this is who my current people who are close to me. I respect Alandria, I respect Shelly, I respect Jeremiah, I respect Brian, and I respect Taylor. I'm not super, super close with everybody like that coming outside the villa, because I just see certain things on the internet which I don't respect. And I know you probably about to ask me about the whole Nick is not a part of that equation. It's just, again, certain things I don't rock with. I feel like if you're my friend behind closed doors, you're gonna be my friend in public.
Sure.
And again, we all have fun, we joke, we troll. I seen he did a whole tattoo thing, funny as hell. But when it comes to the serious shit regarding my character, that's the things I take serious.
And you feel like he didn't stand up for you and or silence narratives when he had the opportunity.
And I told him that. I told him, I said, yo, I feel like the answer that you gave was just mad PR, and I didn't respect it. And he was like, well, I'm pretty much over it. So I was like, okay, cool.
He said, I'm pretty much over it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much over the whole thing. Like, so like for me, this is my life, respectfully.
Right. It's not something for you to just be over when I'm receiving these narratives and it's then going to dictate what my future looks like. And he's just over it.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you feel like Alandria and Nick's relationship is real? Is this you thinking, or is this your answer? I'm going to assume that that's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tough for you because Alandria is someone that you consider to be a close friend?
Yeah, it really is tough for me because, again, she just came out here for Shelly's birthday and we all spent a time together at the club and we all kicking and shit like that. So I have a lot of respect for Alandria. But again, from the last conversation that I've had with, Nick, it was a matter of it's not a romantic spark. They just, you know what I'm saying? They find each other attractive.
Nic and Olandria's relationship, you've expressed in silence, you've expressed your opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the other relationships that have come from Love Island are real?
Yeah, Taylor and Clark, I know that's for sure real.
And the other ones, not so much, or?
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This dusty-ass interview is the reason why people are saying Nicolandria is fake. It's not because they've uncovered some grand PR scheme. It's because they can't stomach the idea that Alandria is moving in rooms they'll never enter. It burns them up inside. And here's the thing. Jealousy disguises itself. Folks will say, I just don't believe it. It doesn't make sense. It feels forced. But what they're really saying is, I can't imagine someone like her being chosen, so it must not be real. They project their own insecurities onto her love life. That's why whole threads pop up like people are PR strategists. When really, they're just pressed. They're just mad. Now let's get into Speedy. Because that interview exposed a lot more than he probably intended. Speedy doesn't think Nicolandria is real. But why? It's not because Nic and Olandria haven't said they're dating. It's not because the receipts don't add up. No, it's because Speedy is operating from an implicit bias. A cultural script that says a white man can never really be into a black woman. And especially not a dark-skinned black woman. That's not just disbelief. That's prejudice in disguise. If Alandria was light-skinned or racially ambiguous, would Speedy blink? Probably not. He probably accepted without question. But because she's a dark-skinned black woman, stunning, radiant, commanding, suddenly it's unbelievable. Suddenly it's PR. That's the blind spot we gotta call out. It's not that Nick's attraction to Alandria is impossible. It's that people like Speedy can't imagine it because they've been conditioned not to. There's definitely a billionaire gaze versus the millionaire gaze. I see it in Alandria. Now here where it gets real deep. Because Alandria's beauty isn't everyday casual neighborhood cute beauty. No, Alandria is in a different category. She's not sitting in the shallow pool of validation where millionaire black athletes swim. The same athletes who, let's be honest, are often picking partners through the lens of colorism. Alandria isn't running in that race. She's not competing in colorism Olympics. She's playing in a whole different arena. Alandria is in the league of the billionaire male gaze. The type of beauty that gets noticed in boardrooms, on yachts, in spaces where wealth isn't just flashy, it's generational. It's global. Men at that level. They don't see her as the exception. They see her as the standard. That's the level Alandria is on. So Nick being drawn to her isn't shocking. It's alignment. It makes sense. The only people struggling to accept it are the ones trapped in old, narrow ideas of who gets chosen and by whom. And let's talk about Ace's angle. Now, we can't leave Ace out of this story just yet because he adds spice to the whole Nicolandria narrative. Here's the thing. People love triangles. They love drama. So the moment Ace enters the picture, his energy, his presence, his closeness to both Nic and Olandria, the internet runs wild. Suddenly Ace is being positioned as the real love interest. So, some people are saying Ace really wanted Alandria or Ace wants Alandria to want him. I don't know. Who cares? But he could be positioned as a protective friend also, or the third corner of the triangle. Whether Ace is actually feeding that or not doesn't even matter. The speculation writes itself. And that speculation isn't innocent. It plays into the same biases I mentioned before. See, when people look at Alandria, they expect that if she's desired, it has to be by a black man. And Ace becomes a stand-in for the expectation. He represents a familiar narrative people are more comfortable with. Oh, she must really be with Ace, not Nick. If she was even into Ace. Or if he was really into her. But, whatever. But that's not evidence. That's projection. That's the internet needing to fit Alandria into a script that makes them comfortable. Yep. This is beyond their comprehension, okay? Beyond their comprehension. People are so stupid. So let's bring this all the way home. Nicolandria doesn't actually need defending. The relationship is what it is. The real issue isn't whether they're fake dating or in a fake PR relationship. The real issue is why people are so desperate to make them fake. It's jealousy, it's bias, it's limitation. Nic and Olandria told you who they are and what they're doing. He's courting her, they're dating, whatever. But people don't believe it because they can't see beyond their own conditioning. And that's not Nicolandria's problem. That's everybody else's. So I'll end it like this. Jealousy screams. Bias blinds. But Alandria, she shines in a space beyond their comprehension. And maybe that's what's driving people to the most crazy, you know. The fact that her shine doesn't need their permission. So let's look how she's moving in these rooms they don't expect her to be in. And I'm out. Let's catch up next time. Let's see where Alandria and Nick goes beyond this.
You got still eager to pursue your education out of the entire palette of Alabama HBCU.
Well, you know, I had to go to the #1 HBCU in Alabama.
I know that's right. Indeed. So, with that being said, you were a supply chain manager, correct?
Correct.
So, could you please share with us what inspired you to be able to go down that path as far as the education and career? What made you say, this is what I want to do?
So originally, I was actually a computer science major. I decided my junior year to change over to supply chain because coding in C++ was cool, but it was, I'm not gonna lie. But supply chain plays a role in our everyday life. So I kind of wanted to be a part of that process. And you can easily get involved globally, just shipping goods and, you know what I mean, raw materials and things like that. So I kind of just want to get involved directly in our everyday life.
Good. That's great to hear. So, and going into our next question, when you were at Tuskegee, how did you build supportive friendships and networks that helped you thrive while you was here?
100%. Okay, so when I was here at Tuskegee, I made sure I got involved. I was the first in my family to go off to college, so I kind of wanted to build my community here. First thing I did was join clubs. So I was in Next Step Up. I was in Street Team. I was a part of TCAL, which is now called Reach. Just started like building my network within those small groups, and just got acclimated with those like-minded people like me. That's kind of how I started.
That's great.
So get involved, guys. If you haven't already, definitely get involved.
You heard it from here first. So,
always trying to be a perfectionist. I didn't really allow myself to mess up, which is why I feel like my journey was way harder than it had to be. Because sometimes you find perfections in those imperfections, or you just found growth in those imperfections, and I forgot to do that. I downed myself so bad when I did fail in a sense. Like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, well, you can. It's part of being yourself to be human, like, and be able to mess up. So I want to tell myself, like, you know what? Give yourself grace. You're going to get there, baby girl. Regardless of how you're going to get there, you're going to get there, and you're going to love who you're going to be in a few years. So that's definitely what I'm saying.
Excellent. So, what was the transition like going from college to your professional career? Were there any challenges? And if so, how did you overcome those challenges?
So obviously, going to an HBCU, which was the best 5 years of my life, by the way, waking up, being the majority every day, I don't have to be a minority here, it was amazing. Seeing beautiful black faces every single day, that was beautiful. But obviously, making that transition from coming from an HBCU, getting integrated back into the real world, and then corporate America, I look around my office, I was the only person that looked like me. As you can see, like that was very discouraging for me. I'm like, do I belong here? Will I be able to live up to their expectations of what they think I am or who I should be? You get what I'm saying? But I had to remind myself, girl, you graduated from the illustrious Tuskegee University. So, you know. So it's just like, girl, you graduated from Tuskegee. You the first thing coming to do all this. This ain't nothing. Let's show them who you are. Go into their room and fill their room up with who you are. Don't shrink yourself in the presence of others to make them feel comfortable. Let them know who you are. Show out. Y'all, I kid you not. For the past 3 years that I was at Otis, I worked in the elevator industry. I was surpassing my goal by a long mile. top salesperson at my company. As soon as we get new people into the office, they will always tell them, like, you need to go talk to Alandria. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing it. You know what I mean? So I just have to remind myself of who I was and not let anybody else that does not look like me intimidate me. You get what I'm saying? So remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself of where you come from. Remind yourself why you're there. Why am I here? Let me show them why I'm here. You know what I mean? Sometimes we gotta overly compensate to fit in there to kind of get to where others are. And as exhausting as that is, that's just the reality of us living in America. So there's no changing that. There's no navigating around that. Sometimes we gotta overly perform to get the recognition that we deserve. But that's just the reality of it, guys. There's no changing that, unfortunately. I have plenty of times where I had to bounce back with grades, quote unquote, even worldwide, when I found myself in certain situations, like, you know what, this is how I can, going forward, this is how I can move differently to have a better outcome, to have a better outcome and a better perspective of my situation. Because not only are you trying to put on for you, you don't realize who's looking up to you. Who's looking up to you, who wants to be just like you. So when you navigate certain situations, you gotta always take the high road, hold your head high, whether you got little siblings looking up to you, cousins, peers, whoever, you have to always do that with grace and just always, I guess, navigate that in the best way possible.
That's an excellent answer, by the way. So, piggybacking off of that question, what's one way that you really take care of your mental health, right? And is it similar to the way that you did when you were here at Tuskegee going into the professional world, or are there any distinctions?
Well, a way that I take care of my mental health is journaling. I journal a lot now. Building a community wherever I am, whether that's in school, at work, whether it's joining like little small groups, getting involved in certain things like that. Finding like-minded people like yourself, just surrounding yourself with people like that, just trying to keep you grounded. That's a great way that I decided to keep my mental health going. And also going to church. I'm not pushing that on anybody, but sometimes God put me in such situations where I could not phone a friend. I had to go into his house and meet him where he was. Like that. I never imagined myself, mind you, I live in Houston, Texas. My family is here. Y'all, I kid you not, I'm 12 hours away from my family. I started going to the church house by myself. I don't need a friend. I don't need family. God, I need you. Found myself walking up to the altar, crying through tears. God, help me. You know what I mean? So sometimes God will put you in such situations where you can't turn to nobody but him. You get what I'm saying? Thank goodness I did. I put it all in his hands, and this is where I am today. If you're going through something right now, give it to God.
To God.
It's not for you to carry. Give it to God and give it all to God. So between journaling, finding my own community, turning to God, that is how I got here. Even now, with me dealing with some crazy issues, I'm pretty sure y'all all know what's going on. I found myself like, God, I need you. You know, as soon as I get back to Houston, I'm going to the church house. You know, God, please, help me, girl out.
Let's be real. Let's keep it real. And she loves y'all. How do you handle criticism or negativity in a public space?
Oh, it was tough. Me coming back, I basically got famous overnight. So coming out to all the support was amazing, but then support is met with hate. So I try to find myself limiting phone time, focusing on the love. I feel like that love definitely outweighs the hate any day. But it's so easy to see like 100 loving comments. You see that one hate comment and you just focus so much on that one. You get what I'm saying? So I have to remind myself, Alandria, they can't tell you who you are. Regardless of what they see, you know who you are, you know what you stand for, you know your values and your morals as a woman, as a black woman, as you. You can't allow the noise to dictate who you are, you know what I mean? So I decided to stay grounded, focus more so on the loving side, and focus more so on my support. That's how I kind of navigated this new space.
It's a great way to navigate. So, with that being said, what advice do you have for the students trying to find peace or motivation after going through something difficult?
Let's see here. Start out, like I said, build that community. That is so important. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. It is so easy to get lost. It's so easy to get caught up within a crime impact that you have that's able to speak life back into you when you're feeling low. That's able to, keep you grounded in times that you don't feel like you can be grounded. You know what I mean? I surround myself with like-minded individuals here in the outside world, and I think that's why I got so far. On the days that I'm just feeling so down in the dumps, they have to remind me, like, do you know who you are, girl? I'm like, you know what, you're right. I know who I am. You know what I mean? Find people that's going to continue to speak life into you, that's going to uplift you, that's going to hold you up, that's going to keep you on that pedestal and keep your mind straight. Find that. Find your people. Find your community. That's all you have to do.
I love me some Alandria and Shelly. Protect black women. I see them, I feel them, I pray for them during this time, because I can't imagine coming out of the villa and then it just be crazy. So I send my love to them. I send my love to look, I'm rooting for everybody black.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.